Aaron Rodgers has been in the league longer than Matt LaFleur. You're going to take Matt LaFleur in and tell Aaron Rodgers, I want you to listen to him. I want you to execute his plays. I want you to defer to him. And I want you to make this work. I think that right now is a bad bet.
So I think what you have, the problem that you have is you believe that Matt LaFleur is going to enter this program in the same way that Mike McCarthy did and expect Aaron Rodgers to mold himself to fit Matt LaFleur. When Mike McCarthy was there, it's an entirely different situation. Aaron Rodgers wasn't the Aaron Rodgers who he is now. Matt LaFleur is coming in with a different level of respect and appreciation for Aaron Rodgers. So I do not imagine that Matt LaFleur is going to try to impose something on Aaron Rodgers. So I agree with you. Aaron Rodgers is not going to change necessarily, and some of those characteristics that you mentioned are a problem. But it will be so tough, like if you're expecting to find a perfect quarterback or a perfect person, it's going to be hard to find that person. Aaron Rodgers isn't perfect, but they're going to be just fine. They're going to be pretty good. And if you look back on what he did with Mike McCarthy, they won a Super Bowl, and they were Super Bowl contenders whenever Aaron Rodgers was healthy. So if you consider that a failure, then I don't know what you're expecting from the LaFleur regime. I think they will be a Super Bowl competitor, in part because Aaron Rodgers is a different Aaron Rodgers now with a higher respect, and the coaches who come in must understand that they need to give some and take some from Aaron Rodgers. I think that's part of it, is when people don't respect Aaron Rodgers the way that he believes that he deserves to be respected, that's when he starts to erupt and push back a little bit.
Look, he had a problem with the coach before he even got there. And what you know about Aaron Rodgers as a player is he's a high IQ guy. In the second that Matt LaFleur makes a call that Aaron Rodgers doesn't agree with, or he doesn't see something 3 and 4 plays ahead that Aaron Rodgers sees, he's going to blow up on him. And this is a guy 4 years older. And now you also put the expectations that this is the next Sean McVay in the making. No, it's not.
Never said any of that.
So if there's anything
you guys
short.
are both making mountains out of molehills. Changing plays, not a big deal. How many teams have you been on where the point guard decided to call a play that the coach didn't call? Football players do that too. Like, it happens from time to time. Let's not act like it's a ridiculous thing for him to change the play.
What about doing it 30% of the time?
Well, when you're Aaron Rodgers and you're Mike McCarthy, see, there's another level of this that I'm not sure that everyone at this table appreciates. Mike McCarthy was not a very good offensive tactician, and Aaron Rodgers knew that. Everyone in football who follows football knows that. If Matt LaFleur can garner some respect that Mike McCarthy didn't garner, then I think it's a different approach. Like, we're all throwing it on Aaron Rodgers, and he deserves some blame, but it's not 100% Aaron Rodgers. There are situations that Aaron Rodgers can fit in, and I think a younger coach who has more respect for Aaron Rodgers is an example of a situation that will work.
This. Matt LaFleur is a very system-based coach. He's a basic read, A, B, C, D, E, F. He's a system coach. When you look at Aaron Rodgers, he plays off a feel, something that he goes out and sees on the field. So if you're going to expect that Aaron Rodgers is just going to change to conform to the system, you're going to get a worse Aaron Rodgers. And as soon as those two personalities conflict, where Aaron likes to play off a field, this guy's a system coach.
By that argument, then you would suggest that Aaron Rodgers can't be coached by anyone.
Okay,
like, name a coach who isn't a system coach. Like, all coaches have systems.
Set aside the system thing for a minute. That's an interesting question. What would work with Aaron Rodgers? First of all, regarding Matt LaFleur, one of the reasons I'm pessimistic is Ryan's not completely wrong. He's part of this Sean McVay fairy dust, resume group. He is a guy who worked under Kyle Shanahan and then Sean McVay, and then when he had his opportunity to call his own plays, had the 25th ranked offense in the NFL. And you're going to take that guy now in and ask Aaron Rodgers to mold to him. You might be right. He has to mold to Rodgers as well. But at a minimum, this is a partnership. Now, I want to address a couple things. Another thing you said that I like, that I will give respect to in this respect, is I can't hold him to a perfect standard. You're right. He's not perfect. Nobody is. But Aaron Rodgers' personality issues, leadership issues lead us to a couple conclusions. Number one, there might be a ceiling on what this Green Bay Packers project is. Does it mean repetitive titles like others? Number two, let's stop comparing him to Tom Brady, because that is about as close to perfect as we can get. And number three, will it work with this young coach? I believe that when you have a personality and a talent like Rodgers, most of the time history shows us don't defer to it, as you've talked about. Actually put somebody in who's a strong personality, who's in charge.
Yes.
Be the Phil to Kobe. Be the Phil to Michael Jordan. Be Bill Belichick to Tom Brady. It's not to get a coach who sees it as a mutual relationship with his superior talent, but sees it as an authoritarian relationship.
Did the exact opposite.
I don't believe that authoritarian relationships work necessarily as a replicable model.
How about hierarchical? Is that better?
Okay, that's
hierarchical.
fine. I think that there is definitely a hierarchy. There will be a hierarchy, and I think that Aaron Rodgers, like, we're pretending like Aaron Rodgers hasn't been good. Like, he was with Mike McCarthy, a person who we think they're like oil and water, and they won a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers come to be considered possibly the greatest quarterback, or at least the most talented quarterback of all time. Like, that tenure, while it wasn't as successful as it could be, was a success. So we're going to bring in someone who we all agree is probably a little bit better suited to mesh with Aaron Rodgers and think that somehow it's going to get worse. Like, I don't understand that rationale. There is not one way to coach an NFL team. There's not one way to do anything. There are multiple ways to do many things. And I think that LaFleur coming in, and I agree with you, his resume is not all that impressive. But Aaron Rodgers and him can come together and make something successful and
You
special.
cannot tell me that if you were leading the head coaching search, you would go out and find the youngest guy possible for Aaron Rodgers? You can't tell me that's who you would hire.
I'm not. Certainly, I think that Aaron Rodgers should not just be mad at Mike McCarthy, but he should be mad at the Packers organization for how they failed him over many years. So I'm not going to sit up here and cape for the Packers organization, but I do not think that you have a team with quite possibly the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. You bring in a new coach who is willing, I'm assuming, is willing to work with him. That team is not going to be bad. They will be Super Bowl contenders in every season until Aaron Rodgers starts to decline as a talent. And I don't think that Mike McCarthy...
Are you saying contenders off of their personnel or off of Aaron Rodgers? That's a strong statement now.
They've made a shift in that front office. Their personnel is a lot better than it's been. They've started to go after free agents. I like the direction the Packers are going a lot more than the direction that they came from. And the direction that they came from was winning a Super Bowl championship.
I think that the expectation for Green Bay fans, for the Green Bay organization, is more than just contending. I agree. Aaron Rodgers is amazing. Right. They're going to contend. But the belief is, when you talk about the most talented quarterback of all time, the belief is he will be able to produce results the way some other quarterbacks have been able to produce results. He has been in the Tom Brady debate on numerous occasions. And what I believe is, what we're reading about Aaron Rodgers suggests, that never should have been done. He will always be in contention. Will he win multiple NFL titles? I doubt it.